One day, Dementia and May were fishing out of a place called Clear Creek. It was a fine and beautiful day, one of the few that they had had that season. They split up partially, May going farther down the creek than Dementia, so they wouldn't get in each other's way. The fish were biting that day. Dementia caught a beautiful shimmering rainbow trout, which she let back into the water. At one point, she decided to check her phone, but found that it wouldn't turn on. Leisurely, she made her way over to May, and they checked her phone to find that it was having the same problem. They both got a bad feeling, and they began to work their way out. They came across a wheat field that they decided to cross, and on the other side found a small portable house trailer. They were walking across the yard quietly, avoiding the junk piled up around the place. At one point, they had to crawl over an old lawnmower, but apparently they made too much noise in that endeavor, as while they were crossing, an old lady exploded out of the trailer wielding a shotgun. But she wasn't exactly mad, more confused about why the power had gone out. After the excitement had died down, they ended up talking, and the old lady was sympathetic to their plight. She gave them the keys to an old Camaro that they could use to get back into town. Dementia figured the battery would be dead, and it was, so they ended up using the lawnmower they were crawling over to jumpstart the battery. Other than that, the dusty old Camaro fired right up, and they sped into town. They left the forest and entered into society, which they found to be in ruins. There were abandoned cars all over the streets, and buildings were trashed. Some people were out looting, others were bandits on the highway, but eventually they made it back to the dorm safely. They had to run inside as there were people around who started chasing them as soon as they left the Camaro, which they weren't too worried about, as it had barely made it to the dorm on fumes. But the chase left them with no other option than to take the nearest door, which was leading into the inner side of her dorm. The first door available was to an arcade, which was now all dark and silent. They locked the door behind them and then began to independently secure the place, where they found that the old arcade was full of children. Dementia made May entertain them while she went to go check the rest of the place. They found it to be completely secure, and they settled in for the night, not knowing where they would go next.